Seconds left, tries to make a move, down low, dish to Staffaroni, finds an open shot, Staffaroni is good! Lodwick's gonna make a move in the lane, the bucket is good! Matthew Lodwick! Monagle baseline, finds Reichert, the lay-in is good! Does it again, does get it from the corner, Staffaroni! White gets it taken away by Milton again, he gets the shot off and it's good! Davis Milton! Got it by Nussbaum. Trying to come back down the court in transition, loses it, gets it back, somehow trying to give it to Landis. Landis with a couple seconds left, chucks it up and somehow Preston Landis off the glass. Here tonight, Staffaroni open from three. Staffaroni, the beautiful feed down low to Coleman Brink. And Lodwick in the lane, the floater in the foul. Welcome back, Matthew Lodwick. And that continues to run, and Highland Park wins it 60-57, and the Scots are headed to the third round.
This Highland Park team is special. They somehow find ways in games that it looks like they have no chance to pull out victories.
Welcome everybody to Plano East High School. It's the Highland Park Scots and the McKinney North Bulldogs here in this third round clash between two basketball heavyweights. I'm Kyle Yeomans alongside Kennedy Miller here on Game On Sports Production edition of Highland Park basketball. And Kennedy, this one's going to be an exciting one. Two big teams coming into this one on a roll. Got through the first two rounds, both of them some tight ball games, especially the Highland Park game against Liberty on Friday. It was a tight one. It was an emotional one. How do you move on from that and then focus on a third round game such as the one tonight?
Absolutely. It was a very close game, only winning by 3 points. Crucial free throws made down the stretch by Matthew Lodwick and Carver Ramey. Preston Landis at knocking down those big free throws in the clutch situations to seal the win. I think for a team like that to win a game like that, it pumps you up for the next game because you understand this is playoffs. It's one game or you go home. And so to live up to the moment like that in the last game, it gives the team all the confidence in the world to play this next one.
And what a game it was. Like I said, high emotion from beginning to end. It was back and forth, and then the Scots, like you said, taking advantage from the free throw line and really being efficient from there down the stretch. Now, as efficient as they were from the field, from the free throw line, from beyond the arc, you got to move on. You got to play a team that matches up very similarly to Liberty tonight with McKinney North. Some big guys, athletes. What do you expect out of McKinney North tonight, and how do the Scots combat it?
Well, they do have some size. They have a 6'7" post man down low who is extremely big down there and commands the ball. But Coach Peeler was talking to us before the game. He said on offensively, he has to defend us as well. So if we can take him out the lane, he doesn't think that he can guard anybody in that starting five pretty much. And he said we'll see how the game goes along, how they match up against us. But he doesn't think that the big 6'7" guy can compete with us.
And in that conversation, he said maybe he could come up and guard Will Reichert, but even then, Will Reichert likes to drive a lot and can have some speed to get underneath that big 6'7" body. But with all of this being said, a lot of the reason why they are here in the third round for the first time since 2008, or actually 2010, it has been 7 years since the Highland Park Scots have been in the third round. How do you really combat that with being ready mentally for a game such as this caliber that none of these players have been able to see yet?
Well, it's all in the coaching. It's all in the coaching to get these guys ready. Coach Peeler and Coach Noun do a great job of scouting and watching their respective films on each team. And so they come in with a great game plan on how they're going to limit the opposition from getting to the spots that they want to on the court. So I think it all goes down to coaching when it comes to game preparation for upcoming teams.
And another big reason why the Scouts are here in the third round for that first time in the past 7 years is because of the play of the three senior captains, Ethan Nussbaum, Matthew Lodwick, and Will Reichert. What do those three really mean to the core of a team, being able to bring them together and put out the kind of result that they've seen so far?
Well, you called it. They're captains. They are the captains of the team. And not because they are seniors, because not every senior becomes the captain of a team. It's leadership. It's by vocal leadership and by walking by your talk. So whatever you do on the court, the way you lead on the court is the way that players will follow you. Those guys are leaders in the things that they will do to ensure that their team wins. We know that Ethan Nussbaum takes charges. We know that Matthew Lodwick is an energizer bunny and will dive for the ball. We know that as soon as Will Reichert gets in the game, he's guarding someone 94 feet on the court. So those guys make the winning plays, and we leave the flashy stuff to the Preston Lances of the world. Those other guys, you can do the flashy things, but when it comes down to what really needs to go in the game, the charges, the steals, the diving on the floor, all of that, those are for your captains.
So the warm-ups are just about done. Both teams heading to their respective benches. Highland Park, of course, the District 15 5A champions coming into this one on a 16-game win streak. And then on the other side, you have McKinney North 21-8 on the season. They finished 8-4 in district play. That was good enough for third place. They got here by going up and defeating Frisco in the first game by 10, 48-38, and then taking down Mount Pleasant by 10 as well. And then Highland Park, of course, getting here with the dismantling of Marshall, and then the tight victory against Liberty at Coppell High School back on Friday night. So we are just about ready to get this one underway here from Plano East High School, the beautiful gym decked in the yellow and the black. But before then, let's hand it over to the PA announcer for the start of our national anthem.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, basketball fans, let's stand and remove our caps as we honor America with the playing of the national anthem.
So a big crowd on hand here from Plano East High School as the Scots prepare to go to war against the McKinney North Bulldogs. And this one should be a good one. The winner of this has a date with Destiny in the regional semifinals coming up this Friday against Timberview, a team that dismantled the two-time reigning 5A state champions in Lancaster by 26 points last night. So Coach Peeler was talking about it earlier. It's going to be a tough one no matter what, but first you got to get through the game tonight.
Definitely, and this won't be a game where you can just walk over the opponent. This is the third round of the playoffs. Last game we won by 3. I'm pretty sure players are expecting every game to be that close from here on out in this state playoffs.
State playoffs are exactly right. The farthest Highland Park has ever gone are the regional finals, the state championship semifinals, and the Scots are 2 wins away this week from doing that and reaching that same plateau. As they're just about ready to announce the starters here for the Scots, it's going to be Ethan Nussbaum, Alex Staffaroni, who had a huge night from beyond the arc on Friday, Michael McMonigal, who had a good night as well. Matthew Lodwick just announced 7 for 7 from the free throw line on Friday that helped propel the Scots to victory. And then, of course, Will Reichert rounding out the starting 5 for Coach Peeler and the Scots. This one should be a fun one, Kennedy. I'm excited to get going.
And I want to make a correction that I did in the introduction, saying that Will Reichert guarded people 94 feet. I was talking about Davis Milton and his defensive ability, not taking for granted anything Will Reichert does, because he is more than willing to use all of the 5 fouls that he gets every game. He will not let somebody get an easy layup, almost reminiscent of the 80s Bad Boy Pistons and their anchor down low, Bill Lambier. He's not a dirty player, but he by any means won't let you get anything easy in the paint.
So a large crowd on hand, but relatively quiet, maybe a little bit of a nervous crowd. It is win or go home here tonight. So both teams about to take the floor.
And we're always sitting on the visitor side. Man. Goodness gracious.
I know. Every single time we end up having a little bit of a visitor rivalry.
I want to sit right in the midst of the student section for Highland Park. I want to be around the Scots as they cheer on their team.
That would be fun indeed. So Reichert in the middle alongside Shannon Watkins. Round 3 action here presented by Game On Sports, and we are underway. KJ Harris, Parker Brim, Malik Perry, Shannon Watkins, and Zach Frazier rounding out the starting 5 for Coach Darryl Kraft and the McKinney North Bulldogs.
And Zach Frazier down low is a big boy looking to take up some space down there.
And a travel called early on against Watkins. He made a move down low, trying to get past Will Reichert instead. Picked up the pivot foot, and he'll hand it over to the Scots. And I might be a little spoiled by the Coppell High School gym that we were in on Friday night, but I feel like we're way farther away from the action than we were then. Lodwick driving in, finds Nussbaum in the corner, and the Scots will reset after there was no penetration.
And my question to you is, you think you're the one that's spoiled? That gym was beautiful.
McMonigal from 3. He can hit from out there. Unable to do so there, but Nussbaum fights and claws for that offensive rebound, keeping the Scots on that side of the court.
And it's going to be tough to get some offensive rebounds down there.
Here goes Reichert driving in, high off the glass, no good.
A guy like Zach Frazier who takes up so much space, and if he's boxing out the opponents, he clogs up a lot of area trying to get some offensive rebounds for the Highland Park Scots.
Here goes Frazier down low, tipped by Reichert. Able to find Watkins, and Watkins just muscles his way and puts it at the bottom of the net, putting the Bulldogs up by 2. Here comes Nussbaum underneath the bucket, a reverse lay-in, no good, and here come the Bulldogs once again.
And that was a good take by Easton Nussbaum. The ball just didn't go in. He took him baseline, had the space, had the opportunity, shot just didn't go in.
This one from beyond the arc, no good, front rim and out, rebounded by Watkins, and Watkins, you can already tell, is going to be a tough matchup here for the Scots. He's got 4, and actually all 4 of the early points here for McKinney North. McMonigal, the Bulldogs are going to give him that 3-point look all day long. Lodwick driving in, tried to put up the lay-in, and it'll be hacked. And he'll head to the free throw line for a couple here. 7 for 7 on Friday night from the line, helping propel the Scots to a much-needed great night from the free throw line.
That's one of the perks of being a little guy. When you have a big guy down there in the paint, if you can contort your body and kind of throw your arms in the air, 9 times out of 10, you're pretty much going to get that call and go to the free throw line.
So Lodwick puts the Scots on the board for the first time with that free throw, and the second one is good as well. So Lodwick continues his hot playoff run from the free throw line. I don't believe he has missed yet. So McKinney North taking their time, gives it to Frazier. Frazier finds Perry, but Perry guarded by Staffaroni. Didn't pull up for the three. Here's Harris. Back to Watkins. Perry from three, no good. Rebounded by Nussbaum. All these McKinney North players with a bright orange shoes with a navy trim as there's a whistle as Riker was driving to the low block and a foul called. Looks like Parker Brim is called for that one, the junior.
And that was a very good defensive sequence by Highland Park on that last possession. They were in deny, they were in help. They closed the paint off all penetration, and they forced a bad shot.
Nussbaum trying to do some fancy ball handling there. The floater no good, but gets his own rebound. A foul before the shot. We'll give it back to the Scots on the baseline, but no bucket counted there from Nussbaum. Would have tied it back up at 4 with 5:01 left here in the first quarter. A defensive game thus far as Nussbaum drives all the way in the lane and puts it in for 2.
And you had to think Ethan Nussbaum was going to make one of those go-to layups that he usually makes in crucial games like this.
Nussbaum has scored 20 points in I believe 7 of his last 10 games. Only had 10 the other night, but did a lot off the ball as well to help his team win.
And they're going to need him tonight to be able to penetrate in the lane like this and to get some points going early. As you can see, some shots aren't falling, some layups and some jumpers for both sides. So you're going to need your best players to get going early.
Yeah, only 4-4, and we're almost halfway through the first quarter here. Like a couple of boxers feeling each other out here early on. It was the same way on Friday night between Liberty and Highland Park. It was only 10-10 at the end of one. And they finally got into the 30s. Big part of that was Staffaroni's buzzer-beating 3 before the halftime whistle sounded, as Reichert's going to be knocked over for the charge, and he'll send it back the other direction. Will Reichert, the other senior captain who's not normally known for taking the charges for the Scots, gets his feet set and will send it back the other direction.
And that's usually a blocking foul on Will Reichert, but he got his body in front of him, set his feet, took the charge.
So 4-4, the Scots with the ball. Still very early on here from Plano East High School. The Archie E. McAfee Gymnasium as Lodwick's driving in. Finds Staffaroni on the turnaround. Staffaroni finds McMonagle baseline. And another foul called. We'll see who that one's on. It's on Harris, his first of the night. And so Lodwick will inbound from the baseline. 3:39 left here in the first. A big student section on hand for McKinney North here on this near side. Reichert finds Lodwick from the corner. Matthew Lodwick hits from beyond the arc.
And in the first playoff game, Matthew Lodwick kind of struggled with that outside shot. But in these last 2 games, maybe it's from the free throw line starting, but he's able to find a rhythm from outside early on.
And a blocking foul there against Lodwick. It will be his first of the evening. As the Scots will try and reset here on the inbounds play from the Bulldogs. 7-4 is the score. Perry guarded by Lodwick. That's going to be an interesting matchup. Both of them very energized players. That one outside to Abarha. Here's Perry from the corner trying to answer his counterpart. Unable to do so, and Ryan Waters comes up to grab the rebound as he's checked in for Coach Peeler. Waters Thought about the three, drives in with the nice up and under move on the low block. Ryan Waters gets on the scoring board tonight, putting the Scots up by 5.
And defensively, they pack the paint so hard trying to guard Zach Frazier that they're forcing this team to beat them by 3s, and so far they have not been able to get the job done.
Yeah, an off-balance 3 there from Malik Perry. And the Scots have a chance here to grow their 5-point advantage. Waters, who didn't have a bucket or a point to his name on Friday night, has a chance to add here. Already has one tonight. Finds Reichert. Reichert trying to find Lodwick, and it's poked away by Harris. Harris in transition. Lodwick tips it away. No, it's going to be a foul. A smart foul there by Lodwick. It'll send Harris to the free throw line for a couple. But at the same time, almost looked like a block from Lodwick. But he's already up to 2 fouls.
And that's what Coach Peeler was talking about on that last offensive possession. They spread out the floor. They had 5 wide. And they had Will Reichert with the ball in his hands with Zach Frazier guarding him. He had to step out of the lane and try and cover him. If Will Reichert were to hit 2 or 3 threes in this game, then it would be a very difficult matchup for Zach Frazier to go out there and cover him.
So that first free throw ended the 9-0 run for Highland Park. Ever since McKinney North got up 4-0, Highland Park ran off 9 unanswered. Here comes Nussbaum trying to find Reichert on the low block, taken away by Harris. Loose ball picked up by Perry. Perry guarded by Staffaroni. He's going to give it right back to Harris, who's guarded by Waters. This one down low, an off-balance shot and a foul called on Nussbaum. That'll be his first of the night. And another couple free throws. Here, this time it's Parker Brim from the line.
And we barely heard the whistle on that call.
So Brim makes the first of 2 as Staffaroni and Reichert will check out to make way for Riley Siebold and Coleman Brink. And as the second one is good as well from Brim. It's interesting seeing Riley Siebold in this early on. Has played extremely well from beyond the arc so far this season. The sophomore getting some early minutes here. Lodwick working it around the perimeter. Down low on the baseline to Brink. Lodwick Waters from way beyond the arc. Isn't going to get anything but net. He's going to hear from the McKinney North crowd for the rest of the night. Not a bad shot there from Waters, just didn't have enough oomph on it. Here goes Brim, guarded by Lodwick. Lodwick with a nice switch. Jones now in the game for Coach Kraft.
How about Matthew Lodwick guarding 4 people in the last 5 in the last 20 seconds.
This zone has worked to perfection so far with Lodwick up top and forcing a tough shot. So under 40 seconds left here in the first. Still a tight ball game. 9-7 is the Highland Park advantage.
And that's all about communication. You have to be able to talk to your teammates, tell them what to do, where they're going, and where you're going to go.
How about Siebold from the corner? The confidence to throw up that 3, couldn't get it to fall. And it looks like McKinney North is going to slow it down and look for one final shot here to end the quarter. Harris up top. 6 seconds on the clock. Dishes and a foul called with 3.4 remaining here in the first. And it looks like the Scots are going to have one final heave as Davis Milton will check in for Matthew Lodwick. Milton has had a buzzer beater already this year to end a first quarter against the Forney Jackrabbits. Has a couple seconds on the clock. He's going to put it up, and that's a little too strong. So Highland Park, despite getting another chance right at the end of the quarter, will hold only a 2-point advantage, 9-7 at the end of one, Kennedy.
Yeah, definitely. Both teams have kind of struggled to score early on. It's been good defense from both sides. If you look on Highland Park side, they've really done a good job of trying to stop Zach Frazier earlier on, doubling him, making him into a passer. He got one pass off, but the rest have been deflections. And then on the defensive end, they've kind of tried to space them out so they can get some cutters going, so they can get some easy layups. But some of the shots just haven't fallen from both sides. So a pretty good first quarter. Like you said, like two boxers trying to figure each other out.
We thought the 10-10 score back on Friday night was a low-scoring quarter to start off a playoff matchup, but this one even more so, 9-7. Both teams still in single digits after 8 minutes. The Scots had that 9-0 run, and that is the difference so far. McKinney North matching up well against the Scots, but Highland Park still holding that advantage as Milton, Waters, McMonigle, Siebold, and Brink will all check in here for Highland Park.
And both teams later on in that quarter kind of switched to zones, which kind of set both of the offenses kind of off balance. And so I think now coming out of the first quarter, both coaches will have adjusted.
Waters got trapped in the corner early on, this 2-3 zone being shown. It's going to leave Ryan Waters open. Had it straight on. What a rebound by Michael McMonigle on the far end. And able to put it back home, putting the Scots back up by 4. And that'll wake up the Highland Park student section on the far side. You can see them on your screen. The parking garage is alive and well. The foul and the bucket, as well as Harris got that one to fall. He's 1 of 2 from the free throw line, and he'll get another chance here.
It's just a good finish around the rim. It was some solid defense, but he kind of got in the lane, adjusted his body, and finished that.
Unable to convert the three-point play, but still puts the lead for Highland Park back down to 2. Almost threw that one away. Milton able to regain possession. Cross-court pass to Waters. His third try, no good. And Siebold is there to reel it in. Siebold gets that one picked off. Headed back the other way as Malik Perry got an interception on that one, and he's able to finish in transition to tie it up at 11. And a timeout here from Coach Peeler to talk it over with his squad. A quick 4-0 run after the McMonigle bucket here from the McKinney North Bulldogs, able to put it back tied at 11.
And that was a good timeout by Coach Peeler. You can feel the momentum shifting towards the other team. He calls the timeout early, trying to stop it while it's still tied up. But they're in that 2-3 zone. They're long, they're rangy, and they're really athletic. And so on the last play, you had a player at the top reach in for the steal, didn't get it. You have to capitalize on that play, because now that one person is out, the defense is kind of broken down, and there are some seams that I think we shouldn't have settled for a 3 in that case, but tried to get it a look towards the rim.
Waters 0 for 3 from beyond the arc. Hasn't had a whole lot of success there, but we've seen games where he can light it up from the three-point line. For example, the North 40 game where he had a couple go in from the perimeter, but just hasn't had the touch so far tonight, as Nussbaum's going to check back in for Coach Peeler.
And Coach Peeler was right on the money, saying this team might go to a 1-3-1.
And the Scots practicing that cross-court passing early in the warm-ups because of that anticipated look. Milton from way beyond the arc. The arching high 3 from Davis Milton falls, putting the Scots back up by 3.
Well, that was a good formation that they had out there to combat the 1-3-1. You know that the weaknesses of the 1-3-1 is to be in the corner.
Good defense there from Milton, going straight up, but a foul called with the bump of the bodies. Milton.
Go ahead.
Well, Milton, with his return to action on Friday, didn't have a bucket, but they're already off to a quick start with that 3.
I was just saying the weaknesses of a 1-3-1 is for players in the corner to kind of space that out. So Coach Peeler came out, saw that they were in a 1-3-1, had both players on the opposite corners, and were ready to shoot the ball, which kind of forced the defense to close in, which opened Davis Milton for a wide open 3 on the wing.
So Carver Ramey's going to check in alongside Matthew Lodwick as well. 6 minutes left here in the first half. Highland Park up by 1, 14-13. Ramey, who had some quality minutes the other day at Coppell High School against Liberty, looking to do the same here. Milton running the offense from atop the key. Swings it around the Nussbaum. Milton, Ramey, Milton, Lodwick from beyond the arc. NBA range three, no good. And none of these Scots have had a whole lot of luck from beyond the arc, with the exception of Lodwick once and then Milton once as well. Here goes Harris. Dumps it off for the three. Malik Perry starting to heat up a little bit as he has 7 on the night. Scots find Ramey down low. Ramey the floater, left-handed, no good. And it's going to be a travel called on Carver as Reichert's going to check in, and so is Dylan Powell. So a couple sophomores getting some opportunities here, as Siebold saw some minutes early on, and then here comes Dylan Powell as well.
And it's important that Highland Park keeps getting stops on the defensive end, because their shots are going to fall. They've worked on these type of shots all year long. They're going to go in the basket, especially after halftime when you get a chance to shoot around on the goals again. And so you just get stops on the defensive end, and you know that shots will go in later on.
The Harris step back three, as he was left wide open, is good, as he's got 6 on the night as well. Lodwick pushing forward. The Scots with their largest deficit in front of them tonight, down by 5. It's 19-14. Here comes Nussbaum, wide open for 3 off the back rim, no good. What an offensive rebound from Carver. Ramey's going to give it right back to Nussbaum. Nussbaum drives in, dish to Powell. Powell from 3, the line drive 3, no good. And Reichert fights for the offensive rebound. The Scots have been controlling the boards tonight. Here goes Lodwick driving in, a foul, offensive foul called on Lodwick, and that's 3 on the senior captain, and we are just about halfway through the second quarter.
Those are great hustle boards by Highland Park on the offensive end to get some offensive boards, but it was also great defense by McKinney North to get some stops on all 3 of those possessions.
So McKinney North with possession and a 5-point advantage. Harris, who is shifty with his legs, and there's the floater, good from Perry. Able to get around Dylan Powell and put the Bulldogs up by 7. These are the kind of runs in playoff games that you can't let happen. The Scots need a silencing bucket here.
And this might be Highland Park's largest deficit of the whole playoffs.
I believe it is, Kennedy, as Ramey's going to go up hard to the bucket, and he'll be fouled and head to the free throw line. So Carver Ramey will get a couple opportunities here. He was 1 of 2 from the line against Liberty on Friday, with 3:33 left here in the first half. He'll miss the first one.
And that's the thing about a zone. It wants to force you into long-range shots, what Highland Park is normally good at, but some shots haven't been able to fall. So you trying to get in the lane, you have somebody at the middle, somebody at the short corner. Great take by Carver Ramey to take the contact and try and finish.
So Ramey goes 1 of 2 from the line again, and he'll check out and make way for Alex Staffaroni. Staffaroni had 9 on Friday thanks to 3 triples. The Scots down by 6. That was their largest deficit on Friday against Liberty, as the Liberty Redhawks got up by 6 in the third quarter, and they were able to come back and win that one in a tight one. Here's the pull-up 3, no good from Harris. Rebounded by Powell as he'll push forward past a half-court stripe.
And that's probably the best defensive sequence they've had in the last 5 possessions. They switched everything, and they forced the defender into a tough shot.
McMonagle on the baseline. Swings it out to Nussbaum. Staffaroni, who is lethal from beyond the arc, has not put up an attempt so far tonight. The zone working well so far. Reichert almost got that one taken away, able to fight for it and get it back. Reichert out to an open Staffaroni from 3. Staffaroni, will he get the friendly roll? And he won't. And somehow there was a whistle before the shot ended up falling off. And it'll give it back to McKinney North. Not really sure what happened there, but
I think they were saying it might have hit the top of the backboard or something like that, or technically cleared out of bounds line.
I don't know if I agree with that one. If that was the call, I don't know if I agree with that one. It looked like it went straight up in the air and didn't hit anything. Nonetheless, 2:15 left here in the second. 21-15 is the McKinney North advantage. It has been a relatively quick first half here from Plano East High School. Lodwick on the bench for Coach Peeler with 3 fouls already to his name. And the Scots student section trying to get into it a little bit. And here comes the McKinney North student section as well.
And the coach when the players were coming up the court, he signaled 1 to his players, as in maybe one shot before halftime.
That'd be interesting. That's 2 minutes worth of killing clock. They've already killed 30 seconds plus. Thought about the magic play, a taste of Coach Peeler's own medicine there, but instead Highland Park had it closed off. I feel like if any team knows how to defend that kind of play, it's the Scots.
Definitely.
An interesting strategy here from North as they continue to kill clock. Most of the possession has been out toward half court. Under a minute now. They've killed a minute off of the clock. Some open space here for Harris. He doesn't want it. You'd think early on you try and put up as many points as you possibly can. But the Bulldogs seem to be content with a 6-point halftime lead, plus whatever they can muster here on this final possession. And a foul called on Nussbaum. Maybe a frustration foul from the senior captain. That's going to put Harris at the line for a 1-and-1 opportunity. And second foul on Ethan Nussbaum tonight. And the first one is good from Harris, who was 1 for 3 from the line before that one. Now brings his percentage back up to 500. So 8-point deficit, 30 seconds left on the clock. Both teams in the bonus. And as it looks like Highland Park now will hold for one final possession. Coach Peeler calling out a play to his white jerseys. Nussbaum finds Powell. Powell thought about the 3, had too much time on the clock. Nussbaum with 6 seconds, 5, 4 on the clock. Nussbaum driving in, will get blocked. It'll go out of bounds. Off of Nussbaum somehow. And that's just a defensive play there from Brandon Frazier. So 1.1 on the clock as Harris is going to take a dribble and heave one to the far side. And the Scots held to just 6 points in the second quarter. A defensive battle here from Plano East High School as the Scots are down by 8, 23-15, heading into the halftime break.
Well, most definitely, it was a tough quarter to try and score for the Highland Park Scots. They shut out a lot of lanes and they closed out on all of their shooters on the 3-point attempt. So Coach Peeler will have a game plan coming out the next half on how they can try and get some open looks, maybe some set plays to try and get some buckets going early, and maybe some players come out here early on and get some shots up to try and get a feel of these new rims they'll be shooting on next half.
So 12-1 run to end the half from McKinney North and the Bulldogs. So it was an entertaining first half in the fact, if you love defense, Kennedy, like we said, a defensive battle here early on. We will bring you the second half of action. This has been Highland Park Basketball presented by Game On Sports. Welcome back to Plano East High School, where the Scots have a bit of work to do here in the second half. Down by 8, 23-15 is the score, as the McKinney North Bulldogs have opened up that 8-point advantage. And Kennedy, early on, the threes were just not falling from beyond the arc for Highland Park. And they come out. The first person to grab the ball out of the extended locker room break was Ethan Nussbaum, and he went right straight to the three-point line and continued to work on his craft, trying to get ready for this second half.
Well, definitely. It's kind of been a contrast of two games. In the game last week, Frisco Liberty kind of took out the paint, and kind of it was really hard for Highland Park to score in the paint. But this game, they're daring Highland Park to shoot it, and Highland Park has been able to knock down the jump shot. So if Highland Park can knock down some jump shots earlier on, they'll be right back in this game.
Highland Park down by 8, the biggest deficit they faced tonight, the biggest deficit they've faced all postseason long. And the Scots, like I said, have some work to do. Coach Peeler and company have to get off to a good start here in the third quarter to give themselves a chance. They were down by 4 at the end of the third on Friday night. Remember that one? And it ended up being in a high energy and an incredibly competitive second half against Liberty, and pulling out a victory there to send them to this third round matchup. So both teams meeting in one final team huddle before we get started here in the second half. Thank you again for joining us. I'm Kyle Yeomans alongside Kennedy Miller, bringing you the conclusion of this third round matchup. The Scots looking to go to the fourth round, or AKA the Elite 8, for the first time since Coach Peeler's first year as a Highland Park Scot back in 07-08. This is the third time they've been in this position in the third round in 7 years.
So these guys are in the Sweet 16 right now.
The Sweet 16 is what we are witnessing right here, Kennedy.
What a time to be 16 years old. That'd probably be my hashtag on Twitter. Sweet 16 at 16.
And McKinney North not wasting any time. The jump step called a travel there, as Parker Brim's going to turn it back over. Like I said, North not wasting any time getting to the bucket, as Brim took a couple steps
and a couple steps too many. Here come the Scots, giving an open shot to Staffaroni from 3, no good, and rebounded by KJ Harris. Harris had a big first half, and he's going to continue that with a 2 there, as he has 10 on the night, leading all scorers.
And that play was a set play. You could tell it was drawn up by Coach Peeler at halftime, getting Alex Staffaroni a wide open shot. Great play, just didn't execute.
That one tipped out of bounds by Brim, and like you said, the set play put Staffaroni open from 3, and who had 3 from beyond the arc on Friday night. Why not try and get him going, especially when your shots aren't falling? Here's another chance for Staffaroni, and he takes advantage. His second time putting a shot up tonight, and he finally hits one from beyond the arc.
And there's a shot that might just open up this Highland Park Scots team.
They were down by 10 before that bucket. Staffaroni hit from long range. He's hit some clutch shots so far this postseason. So have all the Highland Park Scots. You can go down the list and name a couple. Harris driving in, finding Perry. Baseline, Perry, no good. Just a bit short on the lay-in attempt. Here goes Staffaroni, who's going to slip and fall and just shove that one to McMonigal up at the top of the key.
It's amazing how he didn't travel on that. He was so close to sliding with the ball.
And somehow McKinney North lost sight of Staffaroni again, but that one no good. Had a hand in his face.
That might have put this Highland Park crowd into a frenzy. It would have put me in the room.
Would have brought the Scots back within 4. Instead, North has possession again, still up by 7. The defense has stood strong so far for the Scots here in the second half. Only 1 bucket already in the first 2 minutes. This is a position that Highland Park hasn't necessarily been in, especially in the postseason, and a position they haven't been in since really non-district play started. As Coach Kraft is telling his players to take their time. We may not get into the 40s here, Kennedy, if this trend continues. That one knocked away by Reichert. What a defensive play as Reichert all over Shannon Watkins. The pass to Nussbaum. Nussbaum for 3, no good. And rebounded by McMonigal, but it gets taken away. Couldn't handle it. Here comes Perry in transition. And he'll hand it off to Harris to reset. Highland Park not afraid to shoot from beyond the arc early on as Harris goes high off the glass and can't get it to fall as well. Sends the Bulldog. Can't believe it. Staffaroni swings to Lodwick. Lodwick with the lefty 3, no good. Reichert also can't handle the rebound. That's the second possession in a row that Highland Park hasn't been able to reel it in.
And a third possession where they missed a 3. Matthew Lodwick tried to get some contact there. Kind of felt he got slapped on the hand and fell to the ground after that 3.
Still a 3-possession game for Highland Park. Here goes Watkins. Watkins with the pump fake and the bucket, and a timeout by Coach Peeler. Potentially to change a little bit of the game plan here. It looked like they decided to try and shoot out of their slump. They got 1 to fall from Staffaroni, but the other 3 couldn't do so as well.
Yeah, most definitely. This team, they just got to get another one to fall. I think if they can get another one, it'll give this team a lot of confidence in this second half to knock down some open 3s and to kind of open up this zone that they're running against them.
27-18 is the score after that Shannon Watkins bucket. And the Scots faced up against a taller team in terms of height. And in terms of shooting, North has been better as well from beyond the arc. As Highland Park needs to get something going on offense here. Can't spend a whole lot of time with that near 10-point deficit as Reichert takes the laser pass from Lodwick. And the reverse lay-in is good for Will Reichert.
Way to finish on the reverse by Will Reichert.
That's Reichert's first bucket of the game. Took him until about 4:30 left here in the third. Watkins driving in on Lodwick, sees the mismatch. Good defensive positioning there from Lodwick. Harris will be fouled by Staffaroni, it looks like. It is on Staffaroni. That's his first of the night. A foul called on the floor as Watkins sends it over the top to Brim. Brim guarded nicely by Nussbaum. The rebound ripped down by Watkins, and the putback is good.
He's just been a man down there, especially getting on the offensive boards, getting the offensive rebounds, taking a dribble to gather himself, and finishing well around the hoop.
And Watkins, who has 8 points on the night, and I'm pretty sure all 8 of those points have come within a feet or two of the rim, as Staffaroni takes a straight-on three, and it is good, but a travel called. I don't know about that one. He may have had some happy feet, but I don't know if it were enough to call a travel.
It looked like he just set his feet to shoot the shot.
I don't know about that call right there. That could have gone either way, but I'm also biased here, Kennedy. That one would have put the Scots back within 6 in a 2-possession ball game. 3:10 remaining here in the third. The Scots still down by 9, 29-20. Here goes Perry, the jump step and the lay-in, no good. Good defense again by Staffaroni. The Scots will push forward. Here comes Reichert. Thought about the drive instead. Gives it to Nussbaum. Nussbaum from 3. Gets it to go all the way in and right back out. And the Scots can't catch a break tonight.
The rim is definitely closed in these last 2 quarters for these Scots.
They got off to a hot start early on in the first quarter, but haven't had any luck since then. Harris making some move on Lodwick, but Lodwick staying with him. 2:20 left here in the third. 29-20 the score. Harris guarded by Nussbaum. Nussbaum lets him go, and Harris is going to be called for the offensive charge. And the Scots catch a break.
And really, Highland Park has not played bad defense. It's just been better offense, and better offense will always be good offense will always be good defense any day out the week. And so they play great defense, but you have to chalk it up to the opposition for being able to knock down some shots and still finding a way to get to the rim and finish around it.
Davis Milton, Ryan Waters, Riley Siebold checking in here for the Scots. Siebold getting some big minutes here with the absence of Preston Landis out with a concussion. That's a huge loss for this Scots team, as Ryan Waters is going to get it baseline, driving in on the big body down low, and Nussbaum's there to clean it up. The Scots back within 7 after that Nussbaum putback.
And now Coach Peeler wants some pressure on the ball handlers to kind of make the refs count that 5 seconds.
You have Frazier, the big body down low, just standing in the corner. He's not going to have any kind of luck from beyond the arc. So Reichert could potentially fall off of Frazier and keep going if need be. But it looks like McKinney North is just trying to go one-on-one with Harris and then whoever wants to guard him. Brim down low, baseline out to Harris. Harris finds Watkins as Siebold was able to get a hand on it, but it ended up right back in the waiting arms of Zach Frazier. Waters with some tight pressure on the far side. Brim down low, baseline, guarded by Reichert, blocked! Reichert was able to get a hand on it, but Brim stuck with it and put it back up for the score. 40 seconds left here in the third. The Scots down by 9.
I thought Brim traveled trying to adjust himself on the initial shot. Refs didn't call it, so.
There goes Milton, as Milton's going to be fouled and head to the free throw line for his first couple opportunities from the charity stripe tonight, but
And that's another thing. Highland Park hasn't really been able to get to the free throw line as much as they're accustomed to, partly because of this zone that they're in and how Highland Park is desperately trying to shoot their way out of it. The shots aren't falling, and so as a result, they haven't been trying to get to the rim and haven't been able to knock down some easy free throws.
So the first one good from Davis Milton. The second one is up and off and to the left, but taken back. Milton gets it back, finds Nussbaum up atop the key. Nussbaum's going to take it from beyond the arc, no good, and that was a chance there from 3 to bring the Scots right back within 5, but no chance there for Nussbaum. Under 15 seconds left here in the third quarter. Highland Park down by 8. 6 seconds on the clock. Perry across to Harris. Harris is going to put it up with a couple hands in the face, and a one-armed prayer from McKinney North is no good as well, but the Bulldogs still hold an 8-point lead over Highland Park with only 8 minutes remaining here in the game.
And Highland Park, this is their last quarter. You haven't been able to knock down some shots in these first couple of 3. You'll hope the basketball gods can give you enough energy to knock down some shots here in this fourth quarter. Like I said, defensively, they've been playing well. They just have had the bad break of some really good offense. But offensively, if they're able to knock down some shots, it's not like this game is far-fetched from being away. They're still within single digits, and it's a toss-up, really, if their offense can get going.
Only a 3-possession game. If the Scots can get the 3 ball to fall, they should be back in this, but they haven't had any luck with that since the first quarter. It's just been a rough shooting night for a normally great shooting team. Usually that's the bread and butter for Highland Park, and they just haven't had any luck tonight to get them at the bottom of the net. So to start the fourth quarter, it's Milton, Reichert, Waters, Siebold, and Ethan Nussbaum to start on the floor for Coach Peeler.
And I really thought that last 3 by Ethan Nussbaum was going in off the dribble. I thought it would really knock down and give this Highland Park team some confidence going into the fourth.
So we are underway here in the fourth quarter. Siebold's going to get a chance from beyond the arc, a little off balance. Nussbaum with the tip in, and the senior captain not done just yet. He has 6 on the night. The winner of this one has a date with Mansfield Timberview in the regional semifinals. That one no good. And a whistle called on Davis Milton. A late whistle. As he fell to the floor, he's going to plead his case to the baseline referee. And that's going to send Parker Brim to the free throw line. There have been some foul calls tonight that I just do not agree with on both sides.
Definitely, but sometimes you can't blame the refs for being in situations like this. You just have to keep on playing through whatever calls the refs make.
Brim, who was 2 for 2 from the line before that one, has an 0 for 2 trip, and that's just as good as a defensive stop for the Scots. Down by 6. A 3 here would bring them back within a possession. Siebold calling for it on the far side. Thought about the NBA range 3. You've got some three-point snipers out there. 4 of the players on the court can make it from beyond the arc if tagged with that task, and Nussbaum just couldn't handle the hot pass from Milton. Harris in transition, the foul and the bucket is good from TJ Harris, or KJ Harris, excuse me. And he'll have a chance here to make it into a 3-point play.
He got hit in the face on that play.
So Lodwick and Powell will check in for Siebold and Milton. 33-25. This shot up and good from Harris as he continues his scoring night. A 9-point lead for the McKinney North Bulldogs. Nussbaum Spin move underneath, guarded by Frazier. Gets it to fall.
And there's sometimes when Ethan Nussbaum makes a bucket that you know he is willing himself and willing that ball in.
Most definitely, and it's been on these last 2 layup attempts. His ability to get to the rim, finish among the trees, as they say, even when they're not able to knock down threes, they've been able to get in the paint as of late.
Still a 7-point advantage for the Bulldogs. Going down low to Brim as he's trying to find an open Watkins, and that looked to be out of bounds off of Watkins, but the Scots will stay on defense. So Harris gets it to Watkins down low, guarded nicely by McMonigle. And the drive, no good. Tapped out of bounds, and it'll go back to the Scots. So another defensive stop with 6:01 left here in the fourth.
Like I said, you just trim at this lead every possession that you get, whether it be a 3 or a 2 at this point. You just got to get the ball in the bucket.
Lodwick trying to find somebody open. Powell from beyond the arc. Dylan Powell brings the Scots back within 4. That's a big shot from the sophomore shooting guard as Dylan Powell makes it a 4-point game, and the Scots are right back in this one.
And that's exactly the type of shot I was talking about. Now you've got some momentum. Now you've got the crowd back in the game. It's a 2-possession game. You can get this thing back to 2. It could be a 1-possession game if you can hit a 3 and manage to get fouled on it. And so the game is in their hands at this point.
Highland Park, I don't know if they're listening to the music that is on
Here in the Archie E. McAfee Arena,
but it's Journey's Don't Stop Believing. This might be the time to not stop believing if you're Highland Park after that shot from Dylan Powell to bring him back within 4. The student section's alive, the parents are alive, the team's starting to shoot a little bit better. McKinney North better watch out here in these next couple possessions.
Most definitely. And I've been going by this song since 7th grade when I heard it sung on Glee. So
I didn't picture you as a Glee kind of guy, Kennedy.
You know, it's just a couple of songs on there that just kind of get me going a little bit.
well, let's see if this one will get the Scots going. Here's the student section and the crowd on the far side from us is alive and well. The energy is starting to pick up a little bit here in the building. 34-30 is the score. 5:45 left on the clock. 3rd round matchup from Plano East High School. The Scots have done well on the last couple possessions. They're trying to force Harris to his left as Watkins guarded by Lodwick. Stepped out of bounds. It's going to give it back to the Scots. And credit that one to Matthew Lodwick.
What great individual and team defense by all 5 of these Scots. Pressuring the ball up top, forcing him baseline, and forcing him on the baseline. Good stop by the Highland Park Scots.
So a big possession here for Highland Park. After the forced turnover, Powell, who made the last 3, gives it to Lodwick. Lodwick down low. Nussbaum has an open look, and he finishes at the hoop. Nussbaum makes it a 1-possession game. He's got 10 on the night.
And Ethan Nussbaum, he might have 10 on the night, but it feels like 20 in this 4th quarter because, like you said, he's willing his team to a victory here tonight.
He's got 6 in the 4th, stepping up huge for Coach Beeler and the Scots. And that Scots crowd is live on the far end of the court. This shot gets pulled back. Nussbaum falls to the floor and an offensive foul! Ethan Nussbaum! Unbelievable! A late whistle gives it back to the Scots.
And I'm not sure, but that might be charge number 40. And if it is, it's
up
the
there.
biggest 40 I've ever seen. Ethan Nussbaum is showing he's got big-time heart here tonight.
Daryl Kraft, the head coach, absolutely livid as that one's blocked Nussbaum wanted a foul, but it's going to stay with the Scots. A nice play defensively there by Zach Frazier. 4:21 left, a 2-point game. That finds McMonagle down low. Wadwick off the inbounds, and McMonagle ties it up. It is 34-all with 4:10 left in the fourth.
And Kyle, I feel the gym rocking, and I'm not even on that side of the court because this side is extremely quiet.
The Scots have been extremely good defensively. That one almost a travel from Watkins, way off the arc. Waters doing a great job in this 1-3-1, pressuring up top. The trap in the corner. As there is a
timeout.
Can't tell if it was a timeout. A referee is having a conversation down low. Not sure what it was.
I think it was a timeout call.
It is going to be a timeout called. But once again, the Highland Park defense has been a rock-solid wall here in the fourth quarter to even bring them back to the point of tying this up at 34.
Man, I've got chills right now. And you can tell this team is kind of starting to get deflated as long with their crowd. You see the coach over there complaining to the refs. They're kind of quiet in that huddle, but you see Highland Park is energized. They're excited. They're clapping. They're hyped. They're pumped up. Not a good sign if I'm McKinney North, and I'm a fan and I'm looking at this. When I see a coach start complaining and talk the entire time out, that says something that my team is kind of unraveling here a bit.
And with Highland Park on the other side, they're doing this down low. They're not doing this from big shots. It started with the three from Dylan Powell, yes, but after that, it has been down low where the Scots have been dominating.
Well, we talked about it. We just said they needed to get they just needed to get the ball in the hoop, whether it was a 2 or a 1. You just needed to see some type of shots fall.
And they were able to chip away to the point of tying it up at 34. 3:30 left in this one. Waters still pressuring up top. It is Harris and Jones. This one blocked. Nussbaum, or Lodwick keeps it in bounds. Nussbaum in transition has Harris on him. Can't get the strength to push it up. Here comes McKinney North. Watkins in the lane, the bucket, and the foul. And that's a big basket for the Bulldogs.
And Ethan Nussbaum was looking for the foul, but you can tell he kind of lost the ball midway through the air and then still tried to put it up and was a little short. But a great take by Ethan Nussbaum.
Interesting here from McKinney North, just playing defense off of the miss as Nussbaum gets it back. Shannon Watkins has 10 on the night for the Bulldogs.
Did you see how fast Highland Park got out on that fast break on that last play?
Staffaroni from three, and the lead up, bouncing around, no good, tipped out of bounds. Watkins throws it back in, still being kicked around. And he's going to roll over and out of bounds right in front of the Highland Park student section.
And the coach is all on the court. That should be some type of technical.
They're both out on the court, Kennedy.
Never mind. I didn't say any of that.
Coach Peeler and Coach Kraft are about 10 feet off of their respective benches on the near side to argue this call. 2:45 on the clock. It was ruled Highland Park's ball after it looked like Perry grabbed the loose ball on the ground and then rolled over onto the far sideline.
And that Staffaroni shot looked like it was about to toilet bowl roll in as they reward McKinney North with a timeout call.
Wow. Not sure about that one. They had to talk about it for a little bit. And so Highland Park having to play a little bit of defense here, down by 2. There's a lot of game left, especially whenever it's only a one possession game, 2-point game, should I say. I believe there's 2 minutes and 45 seconds left on the clock.
And here's the big thing. You know that right before halftime or in the end of the first quarter that you saw McKinney North hold the ball for almost 2 whole minutes. pass and get around. If you're Coach Peeler, you're game planning against that. I'm having guys up, I'm pressuring the ball, and I'm trying to get a steal so I can get out on the fast break and tie this game back up.
So 36-34 in favor of the Bulldogs. Another close one here for Highland Park. They were down by as much as 10 here in the fourth quarter and able to bring it all the way back to tie it up at 34. And then a big and one chance from Shannon Watkins. Then the missed free throw made it a 2-point game. Staffaroni had an open look from 3 on that last possession and couldn't get it to fall. So some defense here. Ryan Waters up on Harris. 2.5 minutes remaining here in this third round matchup. District 14 and District 15. Watkins down low, guarded by Reichert, is going to be good. And here come the Scots pushing in transition. Lodwick's going to slow it down, guarded by Harris. Staffaroni back to Lodwick. Riker on the baseline. Finds a snag from Lodwick. That one tipped out of bounds. It'll stay with the Scots with 2:05 left here in the fourth and a 4-point Bulldog lead. And a timeout called here for Coach Peeler as he wants to talk over this inbounds play. And this is a specialty for Coach Peeler. We've seen it all season long that Coach Peeler has been incredibly good at drawing up some plays off of the timeout, especially underneath his own basket.
And you get the sense that's what this timeout is essentially for. We're going to get a play drawn, and hopefully we can either get a wide open 3 or a wide open layup under the goal. And so right after that, we're going to get right back into the pressure, try and speed up this McKinney North team into giving us a turnover and tie back up.
The efficiency for Coach Peeler and these inbound plays off of their own baseline is uncanny in the way that he is able to draw up these plays and get one of those white shirts open. He has Lodwick, Nussbaum, Waters, Reichert, and Staffaroni out there. Lodwick inbounding, finds Staffaroni in the corner. And so not a bucket off of the inbounds initially. Let's see what the Scots have in store. They find Reichert down open. Staffaroni from 3, and he hits it. The Scots are back within 1, and Coach Peeler's going to call a timeout to set up his defense. And there's a pumped Alex Staffaroni heading back to that Highland Park bench.
And he hit one right exactly when the time is needed. Now, I'm Coach Peeler. I'm telling my group, if you can just give me one more stop, we can take the lead and kind of put a cap on this game, because I know defensively we can get some stops.
Staffaroni, who is not as efficient from beyond the arc tonight as he usually is, still has 2 threes tonight. 6 points for the big Staffaroni, and he's going to come up big. He's hit clutch shots all postseason long, especially in that Liberty game, and he hit another one just then to bring the Scots back within 1.
We'll see how many bullets he has left in the chamber along with this Highland Park team.
This is an exciting one again from Plano East. We thought the Liberty game on Friday was about as good as it gets, but this one, these two teams are about as even as it gets. McKinney North controlling the majority of the regulation, and then conceding that here in the last couple minutes of the fourth quarter. So here comes the Bulldogs. Back on offense, Harris. And Watkins. Watkins, a big body up top. 6'4", 180 is what he is listed as. He's going to be in the middle, right on the wing. Taken away by Waters. A huge steal with about 90 seconds left on the clock. Lodwick's going to slow it down. Finds Nussbaum right on the free throw line. Nussbaum driving in the floater in the lane. It's good, and the Scots have the lead for the first time since the first quarter.
Like I was saying, there's no problem getting stops on the defensive end. But offensively, Ethan Nussbaum saying, you know the rule, hand down, man down.
There's a foul called as Harris falls to the floor. It looked like he tripped. The foul's called on Nussbaum, and I believe that's his third. But at the same time,
I'd like to go back and watch that one again. It looked like Harris just fell on his own.
Well, after he did the crossover, it looked like he never fully regained balance, so he kind of barreled his way into the lane. And free throws are going to be a big factor in this closing 1 minute and 10 seconds because they missed a couple down the stretch, which we pointed out last game saved Highland Park.
Harris, who was now 4 for 8, 50%, actually 5 for 8 from the free throw line. It is tied up 39 with a minute left on the clock. The winner to face Mansfield Timberview on Friday night.
And is Coach Peeler only signaling for one shot here left in the game?
Potentially one shot left. Highland Park holding up top. Lodwick has it. Surprisingly, North not fighting to put any pressure on it. Here they come. 30 seconds left. Lodwick pushing in. He has Waters up top. Had to pick up the dribble. Gives it to Reichert. Reichert has Nussbaum. 20 seconds left. Lodwick calling for it on the far side. Has the mismatch with Harrison. It's taken away. So one final shot. Potentially for McKinney North. The fans on this side are on their feet. Harris pulls up from three. The shot off. No good from Reichert. 3 seconds left. A timeout called with .2 on the clock. And we are tied at 39 with 2 seconds left. That's enough for a dribble, a couple dribbles, and then a shot to go up.
And really, Coach Peeler has been calling timeout since it was like 3.5 seconds left on the clock. So I think he's going to be begging at the refs to kind of review the time that they ruled the timeout because it kind of sped off some extra milliseconds before they officially gave it to him.
Yeah, they're potentially going to put some more time on the clock. Hey, if they need any help, we're up here. We got the equipment. They're going to give them 4 seconds.
Plenty of time.
So the Scots have 4 seconds to put up one final shot, or else we're going to overtime. Be sure to watch McKinney North. They're going to bring some kind of pressure, try and get a turnover because 4 seconds on the clock is enough for McKinney North to put up a shot if they can get a steal.
And what a steal by McKinney North, tipping it out of Ethan Nussbaum's hands late in the game. Just a great defensive play to get it because I really thought Ethan Nussbaum would get a clean look at the basket going down the lane like that.
So I'm going to set the stage for us one more time. Here in the fourth quarter, it is 39-39. Third round action here from Plano East High School, the Highland Park Scots and the McKinney North Bulldogs. The winner faces Timberview on Friday night. 4 seconds remaining on the clock. Reichert, Lodwick, Staffaroni, Nussbaum, and Waters out on the court for Coach Peeler. I'm Kyle Yeomans alongside Kennedy Miller, bringing you the last 4 seconds of regulation. The baseball pass down floor, bounces around. It's going to be picked up. There's about 2 seconds left, and a timeout called by McKinney North. They're going to get a couple extra seconds on the clock as well.
I don't understand that play. I don't know it either. I like the 3 guys back, but I thought it should have been somebody to come up to take the inbounds pass and then outlet it for a shot down there.
So they're talking over it again, and potentially McKinney North now might have one final shot to put up. It has been an incredible game and an incredible season for Highland Park. The last 2 games have been as exciting as ever, and they got to defend right here to try and force it into an overtime winner-take-all here from Plano East. They've had the momentum here in the fourth quarter.
And you see Coach Peeler making some subs, putting in Max-Man Brink for this last defensive play to add some length to that lineup, make it difficult to get a shot up.
So we'll see just how much time that McKinney North is going to get on the clock. 39-39. They have 1 second up on the clock right now.
And it's all about the positioning of the ball when it gets inbounded. I thought Highland Park would at least got it at half court, calling that timeout, but they took it out of bounds, and they'll take it a little bit behind half court.
So 2.7 on the clock for McKinney North and the Bulldogs. Brink going all the way up. They get it to Brim. Brim straight away from way beyond the arc, and the Scots have forced overtime. It's time to take a little sigh of relief because we've got some extra basketball, extra playoff basketball, Kennedy Miller.
Yes, sir. Overtime, baby. OT is what you want out here. Is where you get the best of the best from your players. You've got some players who are in foul trouble, some players who are tired, some players who are battling injuries. Overtime is where you see who wants to go out and get it more.
We talked about foul trouble. Not a whole lot of fouls for McKinney North. Only 3 team fouls, but they have 2 players with 3 on their docket. And then on the other side, you have Highland Park, who has 17 fouls, but of the players that were on the floor just then, only Ethan Nussbaum had any kind of foul trouble. He has 3 fouls for him.
Speaking of Ethan Nussbaum, that's the one guy I'm going to be trying to get the ball to early on in this overtime to give my team some type of advantage.
So we are headed to OT. 4 minutes back up on the clock. The Scots down by as much as 10 in the fourth quarter. Fought all the way back to get to this point. Had a chance at the end. And they turned it over, but played some sound defense, not allowing a McKinney North shot. So Reichert and Watkins from the circle. And McKinney North will control the first possession of OT.
And the key here is to just keep doing the things that got you back in this game. Playing sound defense, closing out on shooters.
Watkins working on Lodwick. Gets that bucket to fall. He has 12. And here come the Scots working up the floor. Lodwick had an open look from 3. Brought it back down. Nussbaum, open look from 3 himself, and he hits it. The Scots are up by 1. 42-41 as Nussbaum hits from beyond the arc.
Ethan Nussbaum is on another level tonight.
Especially in the fourth quarter and overtime. He has 13. The majority of those points coming since that fourth quarter started. That's a senior captain for you, not wanting to play his final game in a Scots uniform. Nussbaum, that one is Harris, rebounded by Reichert, and the Scots have possession and a 1-point lead and a chance to grow it here as Reichert ripped down that rebound, and he has possession now, giving off to Nussbaum.
And now this is a chance to capitalize on this lead and kind of really make it really difficult for McKinney North to be able to come back from this.
Lodwick dishes to Staffaroni. Staffaroni almost sent the Scots faithful into hysterics. Instead, Nussbaum's going to get an open floater in the lane. Jump from about the elbow and hit it to put the Scots up by 3. And once again, Ethan Nussbaum has been on another level for Coach Peeler and the Scots. He has 15 on the night.
Ethan Nussbaum is asking all of McKinney North, can I have this dance? You know the rule. Mama, there goes that man.
I love it. Nussbaum has been on fire. This one, an open 3 from Perry to tie it up, and he does. Malik Perry, the junior, ties it all back up at 44, 140 remaining.
Kyle, that was an extremely big 3 by Malik Perry, because if he had missed that and Highland Park had got the ball back, they might have been able to put the final stamps on this game.
How about Lodwick from beyond the arc? The tip, Reichert gets it back but turns it over to Harris. Just a little bit too short as he had Staffaroni waiting, but Harris was able to jump in front.
44-44. Harris guarded by Lodwick near the half-court stripe. Watkins guarded by McMonigle. McMonigle has been outstanding on the defensive end tonight as we hit the 1 minute mark again. Nothing has been decided yet. 44-44. Watkins sends it right back out to Harris. Lodwick just close enough to keep that 5-second call. Perry with 40 seconds left. That one knocked away right in the hands of McMonigle. 35 left. Lodwick's going to slow it down. 44 all here in OT. With 25 seconds left and the Scots have possession.
What a great defensive stop by Island Park. Getting that tip out kind of like they got it when they knocked the ball out of Ethan Nussbaum's hands in the fourth quarter. And now we're down to 10 seconds, ladies and gentlemen.
10 seconds on the clock. Lodwick's going to be fouled. He put up the shot. Made it somehow, but the foul is on the floor with 8.6 left. Did he put the ball back down, Kennedy?
He did. He did.
I know. I'm just messing with you.
Goodness.
So Staffaroni is going to inbound. The stack set for Highland Park has an open Nussbaum. 8 seconds on the clock. Driving in, Nussbaum will be fouled with 4.7 left. And it's going to be on the inbound. Nussbaum thought he was going up, should be at the free throw line, but instead Coach Peeler's going to call up a play with 4 seconds left. What do you think about that call, Kennedy?
I don't understand how he's not going up. If you look at the positioning of his body, I don't know who he would be passing the ball to in that situation. But Coach Peeler's going to draw up another out-of-bounds play. Like you said, he's one of the best at drawing it out of timeouts, especially under his own goal. So we'll see what play he draws up with 4 seconds left in this overtime playoff game.
Highland Park hasn't been to the fourth round since 2008-2009. And a chance here to do so if they can make a bucket on this inbound play. Kyle Yeomans alongside Kennedy Miller for the final conclusion of this one. Either we're going to double OT or Highland Park will make a bucket here and potentially send them one step closer to a state championship.
Oh, my knee is shaking. My hands are getting sweaty. Goodness.
So put 4.7 seconds on the clock for Lodwick inbounding. Reichert, McMonigle, Staffaroni, and Nussbaum. Lodwick on the inbounds. See Staffaroni from the corner. He hits it with 2 seconds left on the clock. Staffaroni puts the Scots up by 3.
We talked about it at the end of the fourth quarter. Does Alex Staffaroni have some more bullets left in the chamber? Well, Staffaroni, get all the women and children out the building because you burned it down. You burned it down, Mr. Staffaroni.
Now, even though it was a huge shot, it's not over yet. 3 seconds was whenever he took the shot. There's going to be a little bit of time left because Coach Kraft called a timeout. There's going to be one final heave for a second overtime from McKinney North in the coming seconds. There's 2 seconds left on the clock as Coach Kraft is going to talk it over with the Bulldogs, but that shot from Staffaroni, his third 3 of the night, is about as clutch as you can get.
Oh, man. Well, we know that they only need a 3 to win this game. So if the ball is taken from the other baseline, then you tell your players not to foul, get your hands off of them, and just hope for a difficult shot. Make sure you contest.
So 2 seconds even on the clock for McKinney North to have a final try and a final shot.
And you see some parents are already leaving from the McKinney North side. No faith in their team, just kind of giving up. Do they not remember the Miami Heat Game 6 situation?
I know you remember that one.
I hope they lock the doors and don't let them back in.
So 2 seconds on the clock. Frazier is going to inbound for McKinney North. 47-44. They're going to have to go 94 feet and make a three-point bucket to send it into double OT. This baseball pass tipped around, finds Frazier, knocked around, the buzzer goes off, and the Highland Park Scots are going to the next round.
What a great comeback effort by this Highland Park team, being down by as much as 9 in the fourth quarter, and some heroic play by Ethan Nussbaum and none other than the sharpshooter himself, Staffaroni, first name Alex.
Absolutely incredible comeback effort, an incredible season and an incredible game for McKinney North. But the Scots come up just ahead of the Bulldogs in an absolutely classic of a game as Staffaroni pulled off the three-point shot. He's going to get mobbed by that student section. They're just waiting to storm the court from the far side, and Coach Snowden hugging his fellow teammates. A lot of respect between these two programs, and the Scots will move on as the team begins to celebrate with their peers on the far end of the court, and they deserve every bit of that, Kennedy.
And just think about this. Their football team won state a couple of months ago when the odds were heavily stacked against them. Could it be? Could it be?
Could it be?
I won't say
You never know.
But I'll just wonder.
They got a tough one up next on Friday as they face Mansfield Timberview, a team that took down the two-time reigning state champions by 26 last night. So Highland Park has a lot of work ahead of them. A 3 up and 3 to go for the Scots as they will head to the fourth round for the first time since 2008 and 2009, and a chance, actually a trip to the state tournament and a trip to Austin on the line Friday night.
I'm at a loss of words here, Kyle. I'm at a loss of breath. Oh, man, what a night.
Nussbaum just has to sit down on the near bench as they get it done. The Scots are moving on to the regional semifinals with the win over McKinney North tonight. 47-44 was the final here from Plano East High School. What are your final thoughts, Kennedy?
It's a good win. You celebrate it tonight and tomorrow, and then after that you get ready for Timberview.
I don't know if they have enough time to celebrate tomorrow.
You actually got to get
you got to get ready to go. That game's on Friday, so we will bring that one to you as well. It's been an incredible night here from Plano East High School. Once again, the Scots are moving on as they defeat McKinney North 47-44 in a defensive battle. At one point, the Scots down by 10 in the fourth quarter, coming back and taking the lead, sending it into overtime, and then the big shot from Alex Staffaroni sends the Scots on to another round. Thank you again for joining us here on Game On Sports Productions. For our producer, Fred Garner, for our camera operator Silviano Moncada, and John Knoll, for my partner, Kennedy Miller. I'm Kyle Yeomans. Thank you again for joining us. The Scots win it 47-44, and because of that, we will see you on Friday. seconds left. Tries to make a move down low. Dish to Staffaroni. Finds an open shot. Staffaroni is good. Lodwick's going to make a move in the lane. The bucket is good. Matthew Lodwick. McMonagle baseline. Finds Reichert. The lay-in is good.
And again, does get it from the corner. Staffaroni. White gets it taken away by Milton again. He gets the shot off and it's good. Davis Milton. Got it by Nussbaum. Trying to come back down the court in transition. Loses it. Gets it back. Somehow trying to give it to Landis. Landis with a couple seconds left.
Chucks it up and somehow Preston Landis off the glass. Here tonight, Staffaroni open from three. Staffaroni, the beautiful feed down low to Coleman Brink. And Lodwick in the lane, the floater in the foul. Welcome back, Matthew Lodwick. And that continues to run, and Highland Park wins it 60-57. And the Scots are headed to the third round.
This Highland Park team is special. They somehow find ways in games that it looks like they have no chance to pull out victories.